When we talk about stress, we usually think of it as a feeling, a sense of pressure or anxiety, of being overwhelmed. But what if we look deeper, past the feeling, to the actual mechanism? Stress is a biological system. It's an ancient and powerful architecture inside you that was designed for action. And the best part is, within that system lies the power to control it.
I think we've all been there, right? That feeling of being pulled along by currents you can't control, where all the demands of life seem to be in charge of how you feel inside. It feels chaotic, almost disempowering. But what's actually happening inside your brain and body during these moments? Well, it isn't random at all. It's a very precise, predictable process.
So here's the thing. The very same system that can make you feel agitated, it has a built-in off switch, a counterpart system for calm. Think of your nervous system less like just a gas pedal and more like a car with both a gas pedal and a brake. And these aren't just ideas, they're actual physical tools you can learn to use.
So what we're about to go through isn't just some feel-good philosophy. It's an exploration of concrete biological processes. In this explainer, we're going to dive into the science of your stress response. And from that understanding, we'll discover some real, actionable tools you can use to consciously take back control of how you feel on the inside. Okay, so first things first, we need to understand what we're actually working with here. What is stress, really, on a biological level, and what exactly is going on inside your body when you feel it?
At its most basic level, stress isn't a good or a bad thing. It's just a system, a generic one, designed to get your brain and body ready for action. Its only purpose is to prepare you to do something, which, by the way, is exactly why stress feels so agitating. Your body is telling you to move.
All right, so the whole thing kicks off with a stressor. Now, this could be something physical, or it could be purely psychological, like a tough deadline or a conversation you're dreading. But here's the key. To your nervous system, it doesn't matter. The signal is the same. Time to do something now.
So, the moment your brain registers that stressor, an alarm goes off. Deep inside you, running right along your spine, is a chain of neurons called the Sympathetic Chain Ganglia. They act just like dominoes. When one goes, they all go, firing off a chain reaction that puts your entire body on high alert in just milliseconds.
And what does that super fast signal do? Well, it triggers a chemical release. It tells your adrenal glands to flood your system with epinephrine, which you probably know better as adrenaline. This is the go signal, and it's sent to pretty much every cell in your body at the same time.
Now, the effects of adrenaline are incredibly specific, and they are ruthlessly efficient. Think of it as a two-part plan. First, it fires up everything you need for immediate action. Your heart speeds up, blood rushes to your big muscles, your vision gets super focused. And at the same time, it shuts down anything that's not essential right now, like digestion. It's all designed for one purpose, to help you survive through action, through movement.
Okay, so that's the accelerator, a really powerful automatic system for getting you going. But any good car needs a brake. So the question is, how do we consciously hit the brakes once that alarm has been pulled?
Well, your body comes equipped with an equally powerful system, the parasympathetic nervous system. People often call this the rest and digest system, and it's basically the biological blueprint for feeling calm and relaxed. And here's the most important part. Unlike the accelerator, which often feels automatic, we can choose to engage this brake, deliberately. And the main way you do that, the primary lever you can pull, is your breath. There's a direct physical connection between how you breathe and how fast your heart beats. And it's pretty simple, really. When you breathe in, your diaphragm moves down, your heart actually gets a little bigger, and your brain sends a signal to speed it up. But when you breathe out, the opposite happens. The diaphragm moves up, the heart gets a little smaller, and the brain sends a slow down signal. So the rule to remember is simple. It's just biology. Inhales speed you up a bit, and exhales are the brake.
Okay, so this direct connection is the whole secret behind what is probably the fastest way to calm yourself down in real time, the physiological sigh. And this isn't some new age trick. It's a breathing pattern your body already knows how to do. You do it automatically after you cry, or sometimes when you're in a deep sleep to reset your system. But the great thing is, we can also do it on purpose.
So here's exactly how you do it. It's very specific. It's a deep inhale through your nose, and then right at the top of that breath, you sneak in another little sip of air. Then you let it all go with a long, slow exhale through your mouth. That double inhale, that's the magic ingredient. And there's a really cool reason why it works so well.
See, when you get stressed, these tiny little air sacs in your lungs, they're called alveoli, they can kind of collapse on themselves. That second little inhale pops them back open, which gives your lungs the maximum amount of surface area to do their job. And their main job in this case is to get rid of carbon dioxide fast, because having too much CO2 in your blood is one of the main things that keeps that stress alarm ringing in your brain. So when you dump all that CO2 with the long exhale, it sends a really powerful all-clear signal to your brain. Seriously, just 1 to 3 of these sighs can completely change how you feel in a matter of seconds.
Okay, so now we have a tool to hit the brakes. But this brings up a bigger question. Are we kind of conditioned to think that all stress is bad? What if short bursts of stress could actually be good for you?
I know it sounds a little backward, but the science here is really solid. That whole adrenaline rush we talked about, it evolved to deal with all kinds of threats, and that includes infections. When your body thinks it might get injured, it actually revs up your immune system to get ready. So that jolt of adrenaline can literally make your immune system better at fighting off bugs.
So what this means is, and this is pretty cool, you can actually trigger this good kind of stress on purpose. You don't have to wait for something stressful to happen. You can use your own body to create a short, controlled blast of adrenaline to sharpen your focus and even give your immune system a little boost.
A really effective way to do this is called cyclic hyperventilation. Basically, it's just taking about 25 to 30 big, fast breaths in and out. This breathing pattern rapidly changes the CO2 and oxygen levels in your blood, and that change is a powerful primal signal that tells your adrenal glands to release adrenaline. You're basically doing it on command.
Okay, but a really important word of caution here. This is a powerful technique, so you have to be smart about it. It's always a good idea to talk to your doctor before you try something like this. It can make you feel lightheaded, and I can't stress this enough, never do this breathing in or near water. It could be fatal. And if you have issues like glaucoma or high blood pressure, this is not for you. Safety has to be number one, always.
So, now we have tools for the short term, how to calm down and how to gear up. But what about the bigger picture? How do we get better at handling stress over weeks, months, or even years?
When we talk about medium-term resilience, the goal is to raise what you could call your stress threshold. It's a bit like getting a vaccine for stress. You're teaching yourself to stay mentally calm even when your body's all fired up. The idea is to separate that physical feeling of stress from the mental feeling of panic.
And a really interesting way to practice this is something called panoramic vision. You see, when we're stressed, our vision literally narrows, like we get tunnel vision. You can fight that consciously. So next time you're doing something physically intense, like a hard workout, try to deliberately relax your eyes and broaden your field of view. Without moving your head, just try to notice more of what's in your peripheral vision. This simple act sends a calming signal deep into your brain, and it helps teach it that a racing heart doesn't have to equal a racing mind. You're teaching your brain, hey, my body can be amped up, but my mind can stay calm.
All right, finally, let's talk about the big one, long-term chronic stress. This is the kind of stress that really wears you down over time. Now, things like sleep and exercise are obviously crucial, but the science is overwhelming on this point. The single most powerful protection against the damage of chronic stress is genuine social connection.
And the reason for that comes down to a chemical called serotonin. Serotonin is what's known as a neuromodulator, and it's tied to those feelings of well-being, a feeling safe and content. When you have a real, trusted connection, whether it's with friends, family, a partner, or even the amazing bond you can have with a pet, it boosts your serotonin system. And that system is a direct antidote to the hormones of chronic stress, protecting your brain from their long-term negative effects. It's literally your brain's built-in defense against isolation and fear.
So, at the end of the day, we can't always control what life throws at us. Stressors are going to happen. That's just a fact. But those events, they don't get the final say. The most powerful truth here is that what you can control is your own internal state, your own nervous system, and how you choose to react.
So you now have a toolkit, one that's based on the actual mechanics of your own body. You've got a sigh for instant calm, a breathing method to get focused, a visual trick to build resilience over time, and the knowledge that connection is your best long-term shield. So really, the only question left is, how are you going to use them?